How much damage are humans doing to planet Earth? That's the key question in a report by the Intergovernmental Science Policy Platform on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services, or IPBES. The headlines are stark. Nature in all its diversity is declining at rates unprecedented in human history. And more than 1 million species are directly threatened with extinction, from our closest cousins to the largest inhabitants of our oceans, skies, and ground.
We've lost much of our native forests, much of our native wetlands, and effectively biodiversity needs to be considered as an equally important issue as climate change. It's not just an environmental issue, it is an economic issue, a development issue, a security issue, a social, moral and ethical issue. The time for action clearly is now.
The report concludes that land-based species have declined by at least 20%, mostly since 1900. Amphibian species have declined by more than 40% during that period, and more than a third of all marine mammals are threatened. And human activities, from ocean pollution and overfishing to human-caused climate change and land degradation from farming and logging, are the primary reason it's all happening. The consensus among the 150 nations that approved the report, including the U.S., is clear. Something has to change.
Business as usual is a disaster. We're going to continue to change the climate. We're going to continue to lose biodiversity. But we can have a more sustainable future if we choose the right policies, the right technologies. If we change our behaviour, we can have a much more sustainable future for our children and grandchildren.
The solution, the authors say, is to begin thinking of all forms of nature, from giraffes and elephants to lizards and birds, as having value. Adding their value into our own attempts to clean up the mess we've made can solve the problem, they say.
We need to have incentives in place for clean technologies, clean practices. We need to recognise not just GDP, or gross domestic product, is a measure of economic growth. We have to recognise that nature is a major thing of natural capital, along with human capital, built capital and social capital.
The report concludes that it is still possible to head off the worst predicted outcomes if humans start moving aggressively towards sustainability. Kevin Enochs, VOA News.